Good morning, guys. It is day 43, Flippin' Live, and let's get going. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive. We're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're flippin' live. Good morning, guys. How you doing? Glad you guys are here. To be honest, I wasn't sure what to talk about today. Kind of was focusing on other things on Sunday, and yeah, so figured to just talk about, just share with you some eBay sales. Feel free to comment and chat and ask questions, anything like that. Yeah, I listed a few things yesterday, at the end of the day on eBay. I listed a book, like a couple book lots. Hold on. And what else did I list? Oh, I had a bunch of Native American books donated to me, and so I'm listing a few book lots in that genre. And I think I'm gonna hold back on listing some of them. I listed probably like half of them, but I might just put out the rest of them for sale at my local sale this week and see what happens. Yeah, so I listed some of those, and then I listed I had a VHS tape lot from that TV show Highlander, which you guys um, which you guys may or may not know about. I never watched the show, but anyway, I had received a donation where I had the three of the seasons, entire seasons in VHS grouped together, plus three other ones related. So anyway, I put that up as a lot. We'll see what happens. If people are interested, Michael says, interestingly, I found that the whole weekend, uh, there were no donation pickup requests, but I already got a request this morning. So I think with things opening up, you'll see less requests on the weekend. Yeah, I got none. Um, yeah, I didn't get anything. And also, the other thing I'm noticing is that uh, what I would notice before is as my ad would run, even though I wouldn't always get donation requests or information about donations, giving donations, I noticed that people would uh, like the video or give it a thumbs up or whatever, and I'm not seeing any of that right now. So uh, there's like no activity in terms of interaction with my video other than it's being shown to people. I'm assuming. Um, I should just go and look at it real quick and make sure that it's running. Let's see. Well, maybe it's not running. It says account error. Okay, so there's an account error and something else is going on. Let's see. Ad sets. Oh, man. Okay, so apparently all my stuff is stopped. Okay, well, once I'm done with the stream, I will have to deal with that. I don't know what's going on. With issue. Due to a technical issue, you were built incorrectly for some of your ads. So I don't know if it's running. Anyway, sorry, I won't do this live, but that's maybe that's probably the reason then. I'm assuming if it says account error, then that means that it's not running. Uh, anyway, Okay, so then I can't say whether or not I would have gotten donations, so maybe it wasn't running. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that once I talk to Facebook. Um, Good morning, JRKR 1964. Uh, this video, I'll share with you guys some sales I had on eBay over the weekend, but feel free to comment and tell me what's going on with you guys this Monday morning. So, Brian's starting to collect lots of media for eBay, but still not sure if I will get more money with auctions or buy it now. Um, so, generally speaking, you probably, generally, wow. Generally speaking, you'll probably get more money with buy it now, but you'll just have to be more patient with it, and you'll have to have enough room to store it until it sells. That's why I love auctions, is because after 7 days, it's done. Usually, people pay right away, either that same day it ends or the next day, and then I can ship it out and get rid of it. Um, I don't probably get as much money as I would if I wait around for a higher price for the right buyer to come along, but it's more convenient a lot of times when I have a lot that I'm trying to get rid of, like a lot of CDs, a lot of DVDs, that kind of thing. Um, so I think it's great for CDs and DVDs, but again, there are people that are willing to pay more money. I mean, I did that with some DVD lots where I held them back as buy it now, and I got more money for them. Some workout DVDs. Uh, let's see what else. I mean, this is well, I'll share that later, but. Things like a series, so like a trilogy, a movie that had first, second, and third installment. Put them together as a lot and sell it as a buy it now versus doing an auction. You get more money that way for sure. A lot of stuff like that Pottery Barn collection that I got together. If I had done auction, I would not have. I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten nearly as much as I got for it. I don't know 100%, of course, but I feel pretty confident about that. So yeah, it depends on if space is limited. If you don't have the patience to wait, then just do auction. But if you have the space and the patience, then definitely do buy it now. But also you could split it. You could do like half buy it now, half auction. See how it works out. Yeah, I will have to check if I have Gone with the Wind DVD. I'll look. I have a section where it's a rather large section where I have DVDs that are from the 1980s, so 89 and older, and I have a bunch of stuff that's from way back. I might have a copy of Gone with the Wind. Let me go check. I will check today. I have to remember that. Gone with the Wind to check. I don't think I have the. I'm pretty sure I don't have the book, but I might have the DVD. Yeah, it's crazy. I know. Oh no. JRKR says she sold all her Gone with the Wind DVDs before I knew about what was going on. Yeah. Yeah. If you're at a thrift store, if you're out there sourcing wherever, look for Gone with the Wind. Not that you're likely to come across, the book or the DVD, but you never know. You could just find one in a thrift store shelf, a DVD or something, and definitely should buy it. Um, Excuse me. Wow. That's why. That's why it's good to at least have a general sense of what's going on in the news. Don't obsess about what's going on in the news, but just have a general sense of what's going on, so that if there's something that is hitting the news big time, like talk of banning Gone with the Wind and that type of thing. Also, a lot of anti-racist books were selling like crazy. I don't know if they still are on Amazon. So if you had anything like that, you could send it in and sell immediately. So also, I mean, not related to this, but when a famous person passes away, um, then whether it's oh, whether it's an entertainer of some sort, like a singer, an actor, or if it's an author, of course, if you're selling books, then um, their stuff can become more valuable. So yeah, definitely follow that. So aside from that sale that I had, or that I was paid for, that book that I shared with you guys on Friday, the 40 Summers Ago, if Steve McQueen book. If some of you didn't see it, I'm going to ship it out today. Um, this one was paid on Friday. One that I got for $1 at the library book sale. It sold for $2.50, and I'm shipping it international. Well, it's going to go to Kentucky because they have the global shipping program, and then they'll ship it out to Australia is where it's going. So that was awesome. But I did have some other sales in a variety of different genres or media, not genres, sorry, media types, I should say. Um, Michael says Sundays are great for hitting up the pricier estate companies, as they will often have. Here, I'll put this up. As they will often have great books where they will make you a deal, and you can find deals even at $3 to $4 a book. Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to to have my sale. First of all, my sale this weekend, and well, Friday and Saturday, and the next weekend on the 27th, I'm going to be buying all of those books in storage. I don't know exactly how many. They claim there's at least 2,000, but there might be a lot more than that. Um, and I'll essentially have inventory for a while to go through, uh, and I'll probably end up doing once I go through it all, which I just really don't know how long it's going to take because I don't know what's in there. I don't know if it's all stuff I have to type in or if it's a mixture of barcodes and type-ins or it's mostly barcodes. So I really hope that a lot of it is newer and I can scan it versus having to look up so much of it. But if it's valuable and I have to look it up, that's great. But if it's not, anyway, so I'm gonna have to go through it and look for look for stuff for Amazon. Hopefully, there's a good amount. Hopefully, so I can get it out of my possession and start selling it on Amazon. But I might end up having to have a really big book sale and probably advertise on the what is that called? Book Sale Finder. I'll end up probably advertising there and trying to do a big sale at my space and see if I can sell a lot of those books the next sale I have. So anyway, but I'm kind of getting anxious in regards to inventory, right? And getting over that inventory. But anyway, side note. Scully's here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Good morning, Scully. We have very little competition at these places. I hear they will even sell you the remainder so they don't have to carry them out. Absolutely. I usually say, if I make a stack, will you make me a deal? And they always say yes. Absolutely. Yeah, Scully, do you have any Gone with the Winds? If you have any Gone with the Winds, unless you really, really want to keep them, they're selling like crazy right now on eBay for great money. I don't know if you have that, but or want to sell it, but yeah, if you go to these estate sales, I mean that's the thing you have to understand. Like, think about the estate sale company who puts on estate sales, and their job is to get rid of everything or as much as possible. The last thing they want to have to deal with are hundreds or thousands of books sitting on shelves in a house. If you show up and say, "Hey, how much for all these books?" Well, if you want to, take all the books off their hands, I'm sure they'll make a credible deal with you. But like Michael was saying, if you pick out the ones you want and say how much for all these, I'm sure they'll make you a great deal as well. But another thing to consider, if you have the room in your vehicle, if you have the space, and if you have the ability to do it, is to sort of be a clean out book service for estate sales, estate sale companies, where you have your own business card and you say, yeah, I'm a bookseller. I'll gladly take any books that are left over. I'll take them all off of your hands. You just give me a call. And I've heard people do this, where they're in contact with realtors, they're in contact with estate sale companies, sometimes even construction remodeling companies, where they'll come into a trashed house and it'll still have stuff in there, and they'll see a bunch of books and they'll be like, oh, let me call this guy or girl or woman or man who cleans out books, and no questions asked, no matter what they are, you show up and you just take all of them. That's valuable to to these people. So consider that, right? Consider getting 100 cards printed up and hand them out as you go to a estate sale and say, "Oh, hey, I'm a bookseller, and I'm glad to take all your books off your hands if you have any left over, at any of your estate sales, that kind of thing." You never know. It could lead to something big. It could be a big source for you. Scully's the man for collectible books, signed collectible books. Yeah, Scully, check it out. Now, if you want to keep it for your personal collection, I have no interest of flipping it for money, then don't worry. But check out eBay. Gone with the Wind copies, especially the first editions, older copies, are going for hundreds of dollars. And you should definitely do a listing on Book Sale Finder, as all of the library sales have been pulling out. Your listing for your sale, send out, and you'll get a good turnout. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Michael? Do you think it's too late to post on there if I were to contact them today, considering my first sale day of the sale is Friday? Would it be worth it, you think, to pay the $35 and get my posting up there? I don't know, probably 3 days before. Because when I've done it before, I did it one time before. They weren't exactly quick with it. It took them a little time to turn it around, so it might not be till tomorrow or so that it goes live. So I only have like 3 days of people actually looking at it. Um, I don't know whether I should post on there or not. I mean, I agree that I would be like one of the few people who would actually have a sale, so that would be good. So maybe it'd be worth it. $35. I'm sure I can make more than $35, but you never know. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If anybody, everybody should be looking out for Gone with the Winds. These things happen. You never, you don't see it out of nowhere because of current times, news, whatever's going on. It can be anything. Anything happening. Things become valuable, whether someone dies or something gets banned or whatever it is. Um, yeah, you never know. So pay attention to that stuff. That's a good idea. If Book Sale Finder doesn't cost much to advertise, I think it's $35. It's either 30 or 35, but I believe it's 35. Book Sale Finder needs the business, and they would likely bend over backwards. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll do it then. I mean, when I did it before, this was like I only had 5 sales before quarantine, so I think it was maybe like second or third sale that I did it, and I know I had 2 people show up. I know I had multiple people show up, right? I didn't get a ton of people to come, but I know I got a decent amount, like maybe half a dozen people, and there were even a couple of resellers in there that are actually scanning my books, and good luck to them. I hope they made money. Um, but there were some just book buyers that came, I know, and they had mentioned that they saw it on there. So yeah, that's a good point though. That they're probably um, not desperate, but they're probably struggling to get people to advertise on there, because normally they just have a ton of libraries advertising every single weekend. They've got a dozen or more sales. So throughout the year, basically, especially this time of year, there's a lot of sales usually going on, and now there's really nothing. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. So let's see. How do I start? So I still had some people paying for uh, CD lots. Remember that I had listed over 40 CD lots. Majority of them sold. These were all 7-day auctions. The majority of them sold. It ended Tuesday night of last week, Tuesday evening, and then I had to ship out like 20 something of them, and then a dozen or so didn't pay, and then they trickled in and started paying. And then one of them I had to send the invoice to because they bought two uh, or won 2 auctions. Um, so this one here. Let me look here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, these did not go for good money. But I sold this lot of 5 what did I call it? Smooth jazz CDs. I think what the problem was with this is it wasn't enough, but I just decided to put them together anyway because I had them um, extra CDs, and I only got one bid on those plus shipping. But usually jazz though can do pretty well, but I think I need to have more of those together for it to do a little bit better. Um, yeah, they might, Michael. If I ever come up for air, I'll make a video of rare books and signed copies. Yeah, you should. Um, so the other thing that a lot that I sold CDs. These were promo or sampler CDs. Let's see, find it here. So this one sold for $4.25. So not much money, but it was only like 11, I think. You can see here they're different sampler CDs from years past. And I don't even know what the musical genres are. I just listed them as promos and samplers, and wrote out whatever was on there. I mean, these are from like the 2000s. Some of these might be the 90s. And so some people, collect this type of stuff where there might be some songs on there from bands that became famous, um, or there just might be some songs that it's hard to find. So if you get a bunch of samplers or promo CDs, you could put that in a lot together and sell those. If you get a ton of them, maybe you can group them by, if you can figure it out, by musical genre, that type of thing, or maybe like some of them are festivals, so maybe by festival. Yeah, Scully has a collection of over 500 records from the 70s and 80s. Yeah, Scully, you're sitting on some nice stuff there, and that's cool. You should definitely consider sharing that on your channel. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so I also had another one that paid. Okay, what do I want to share now? Okay, so I will share. Speaking of, so different media. So I got paid on some of the CD lots. I sold some DVDs. Um, I sold a book and a book set, an audio book, and VHS tapes. So what is that? That's like five. That's like one, two, three, four, five different media types of media. So that's why I always stress the importance of at least knowing something about the different types of media, because as a bookseller you will come across lots of other types of media. You'll come across lots of DVDs and CDs, and the books are always right next to the CDs and DVDs and the VHS tapes when you go to thrift stores. And of course, at library sales, when those start again, there's always all types of media. I didn't sell a record, but records are another genre or another type of media that you definitely should consider getting into. Um, Michael asks if there's any good Facebook book reseller groups. Yes, that you recommend. Let me see real quick what the one is called. That it's called. Here, I will show you. Where does it say its name? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me show you the screen. This is the one that's the biggest that I'm a part of. It says booksellers on Amazon, eBay, and more. I think there's like it doesn't show how many, but there's thousands of people in here, and it's extremely uh, wow. I am blanking on my vocabulary. Uh, wow. Anyway, I can't remember that, but they respond quick, responsive. There you go. They're extremely responsive and knowledgeable as a whole uh, group. You can post any questions on there. And also they changed the name of it from just being FBA Amazon to including eBay, because a lot of people, when the fees went up a couple years ago on Amazon, a lot of people either switched entirely to eBay or partly. And so a lot of people know a lot of good. I have a lot of good information on there about reselling books on eBay as well. Some of them do big numbers on eBay, while continuing to still do Amazon. So you can learn a lot about both and ask questions. So I'd recommend getting in that group. Um, Scully, this is really awesome content. Thank you very much. I had no idea what to do with all these books and records. For sure. So glad we crossed paths. Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, if you're looking, to, sell some of your collection, definitely, especially if you have a lot of first editions, signed first editions, that type of stuff, collectible books. I'd highly recommend eBay for that. Uh, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have so many. You could like you talked to, like you left a comment. You could definitely do like your own Instagram page or something. But eBay is a great way to go about it. JD asked, "Have you noticed slow package delivery lately?" No, I have not. For eBay for post office, I did a few weeks ago, when they were, probably like 3 weeks ago or so. There were some issues. I would get some messages from people about, their package being slow to get there, but also not even being scanned. So, what was happening apparently, which I found out, is that, and this was happening at my local, post office. I go to one that's in an adjacent city, and it's a big post office. It's got a big old parking lot. It's a fairly big size one inside, and so I always drop off my packages there because I have plenty of parking. Because the one in my city is no good. So anyway, what was happening is I would drop off stuff. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by what I'm seeing on Facebook. I don't want to look at that. So I would drop off, like I dropped off maybe 5 or 6 boxes, and it turns out they weren't scanned in. They were taken in at the location, and then they weren't scanned in until they got to their destinations, like the cities of where they were going to be delivered, and they were finally scanned in and then delivered. So apparently that was something that was happening. But anyway, no, I haven't noticed recently. And I've noticed too that because a lot of people here, at least where I live, have gone back to work these last couple of weeks. I think this week too will be kind of the final big surge of people returning to work. This week, a lot of things, Friday, a lot of things officially were allowed to open. And so a lot of restaurants opened, uh, which is a big one, of course. We were driving around family, and we saw a lot of restaurants that were filled with people. And so in dining in is opening. And I know gyms in a couple weeks will be opening here. So just a lot of people going back to work, and there's a lot more traffic, a lot more people out. So my assumption is less people, using the post office. So yeah. Ba-ba-ba. Oh, Scully says, I need to do an inventory. Yeah, my family thinks I'm nuts to keep all this hard copy. Oh, well, I mean, if you enjoy and love books, and you're a collector, no problem. If there's a bunch of them though that you don't feel you want to keep, then you should definitely start to go through them and put those to the side, maybe, and start finding out what they're worth. I mean, if they are, the difference between Amazon and eBay is more the collectible type. So if they're more first editions, first edition, first printing, signed, that kind of stuff, in great condition, then eBay might be a better bet. It's probably going to be a better bet for those types of collectible things. You'd be surprised at what a lot of those will go for. You said, where did you say earlier that you had Cardinal of the Kremlin? Let's check that out just real quick as an example, just to see. Where am I? What am I doing? Cardinal of the Kremlin first. You said it was signed, right? Ah, it's signed. Okay, let's see if anyone has a signed copy. All right, let's see what they've sold for. Not for much money. Here, I'll just show you the. So this is, I don't know if this is the one you have. The Cardinals of Kremlin, Tom Clancy, 1988, signed first edition. This one went for 19 bucks. So this one doesn't go for much money. For some reason though, there's people listing them for a lot more money. This red cover. Anyway, do your research on that type of stuff and see some are worth more money than others. Definitely. My family thinks Scully, when they think you are nuts, that's usually a sign that you're on the right path. Exactly. I have to learn to let go. I'm so attached to my library. Hey, depends. Some. If you have the room, if you're a collector and you have the room. I mean, I keep all my books that I've read, um, going back many many years. I don't read as much. I'm starting to read more. I'm starting to try to find more time to read books. I finished more lately than I have in the last like month. I finished more books than I have in the previous 6 months. So I'm reading more, trying to be more cognizant of that and getting back into that a little bit more. Not nearly as much as I used to. I used to spend hours a day, before I had kids and all that. But I keep my books, so it's up to you. Don't feel bad about keeping your books. If you have the space and you love them, then why not? But if there are some that you're not that attached to, then yeah, definitely consider selling them. So okay, so I sold. Keep asking questions. Feel free to keep chatting. Definitely, I'll talk about some of my eBay sales. So I sold. Whoopsie. Return of the King and The Hobbit VHS tapes. When I saw these, I thought these were pretty cool. These are from, it says 1977, but, the date is 1977. So I don't know. I don't think. When were VHS tapes invented? Were they the 70s or the 80s? I thought they were the 80s, but I don't know. But this came out in 77. I don't know if these tapes were actually produced in 1977. But I sold them as a pair here. These were from, I believe these were, oh no, these were donation. Sorry, these were a donation. I got a donation of a bunch of books, and there were a lot of VHS tapes in there as well. And so I have been able to sell maybe half a dozen or so, 7 or 8, I don't know, from there. VHS tapes. I used to go really big into VHS tapes with just FBA. I sold hundreds of VHS tapes through Amazon. This was before I started eBay. This was in the first couple years of like 2015, 16 of me doing reselling. This was one of the ways that I diversified past books, is so that when I would go into a thrift store, I would come out with some books. But if it didn't have to, if I didn't find too many, then I'd look at the VHS tapes, and I'd usually find at least a few. And then I started getting into CDs, and so then I could come out with some CDs as well. And then I even started looking at records, so I would try to come away with at least 1 or 2 records. So each time that I went to the thrift store, I was able to come out with a decent amount of items to resell. Scully says, I did let go of 10 grand in 1860s Victorian. Man, furniture. Okay, I know nothing about that, but there you go. Realtor Connection is still feeding me 1 solid lead a week. Definitely work your connections. Most people that get rid of books are usually in a transition requiring others' help, like realtors. Yeah, it makes sense. The more connections you make, the more personal relationships you build, the more people that know what you do, the better off you're going to be. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have not sent too many VHS tapes in recently, like this year, to Amazon, but that's just because I haven't found that many. But absolutely, VHS tapes still do great on Amazon. Excuse me. Man. The scenario is still in place where VHS tapes are very collectible. So switch over. So there are people that love the format. Um, they like to own VHS tapes. They like to collect them, right? Number two, there's certain ones. I don't know if this is one. This might be one, which might be why people still buy it. But there's certain ones that programming that is only available on VHS tapes. So people have to buy the VHS tape if they want to own their own copy of whatever program it is, whether it's kids programming, whether it's a workout tape, whether it's some sort of random movie or horror movie or rare movie, B movie, cult movie, that type of stuff. Horror is one of the big ones that does really well on tape. So there's also live events like either sporting events or uh, wow, live concerts. Uh, I've even seen some where it's like a live, like a sermon or that type of thing, or a service at a church. Some documentaries. So there's certain programming that's just only available on VHS tape. So it's never going to, unless for some reason the programming becomes available on DVD or streaming. But if up to this point it's still not has not become available, it's unlikely it will anytime soon, or if at all. So VHS tapes are a great way to diversify your media. Now, with VHS tapes, though, the majority of them are not worth any money for resale. Are not worth any money for resale. So you just have to get good at finding the good ones. Generally, like the more popular titles in terms of movies are not going to be worth anything. It's the more rare stuff that you've maybe never seen before, never heard before. Uh, Uh, tired as a sloth, Scully says. Yeah. Brian says, how do you go about approaching realtors? I'm not, I mean, if if I could call them, yeah, I don't know. Michael might have the answer to that. I mean, in terms of estate planning, or not estate planning, estate sale companies, you can just go to estate sales and, bring some cards and talk to them and say, or go on the last day, maybe the last couple hours, the last hour of the last day, and see how many books they have. I mean, you should show up the first few hours too, but build that relationship. They're like any other business owner, right? They're trying to make money. They're trying to uh, figure out ways to sell off people's stuff quicker for more money. So if you can offer them the service of just walking in and there's 300 books and hardly anyone's looking at them. They sell a book here or there for a buck or two, and you walk in and say, "Oh, so I'll give you $100 for all those 300 books." I mean, take a look at the books yourself and see if there's anything of value in there. Depends on how you want to do it. You can buy them all in one fair swoop, blind buy, so you're going to want to pay less for that, or you can go through them, find the ones you want, and say, how much for all these, like Michael said, and they'll probably give you a deal. Okay, Scully. Well, good luck, man. Have a good day. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate your input. Scully's a great source there. He knows a lot about books and records. Got quite a collection. Have a good day. So Michael says, when I go for donation pickups, they flat out tell me that they're getting their home ready to sell. Sometimes I will engage them in conversation in person or email. Huh? Yeah, sounds good, Scully. I'm glad you stopped by. Awesome. Have a great one. Uh, yeah. So try it out. I mean, you never know until you try, right, Michael or Brian? You never know. With this kind of stuff, you kind of gotta be out. I mean, not outgoing per se, but you gotta talk to people. You gotta chat people up, let them know what you're doing. The worst they can say is no, not interested. We already have somebody else. Whatever. Who cares, right? Just keep it moving. Um, the more people that tell you no, the more likely you're to find somebody who. And it's not like you're walking around trying to sell life insurance or what do you call them, home alarm systems or something. Um, you're just trying to take some. You're trying to say, hey, I'm trying to help you out, right? Like, I don't want any money from you. I want to take this responsibility off of you. I'll even pay you to take some of this stuff off of you. So anyway, So yeah, Hobbit. Those were cool. I always loved to sell VHS tapes. I think because it's nostalgic for me because I grew up with them. Um, all there in the '80s there was only VHS tapes. There wasn't DVDs had not come in and any of that. So they were huge. I mean, millions and millions of VHS tapes that were sold, and you know that because whenever you go to a garage sale or an estate sale, there's almost always VHS tapes and or VCRs. So there's just so much of this stuff out there, and there's a lot of valuable VHS tapes. Just a lot of tapes that aren't valuable as well. So you just got to be good at knowing which ones make sense. So that was a cool sale. I sold this book, which I shared with you guys in another stream, Albion's Seed, Four British Folkways in America. Sold it on eBay. The cover's a bit rough. The dust jacket, see that? It's got some little tears. And here it's got some little tears. Edge tears, I guess you could say. But the actual book, the pages of the actual book are fine. There's a little like stain on the page edges there. But the cover's good. It's got a cool looking cover underneath the dust jacket. I think that looks better than the actual dust jacket, even if the dust jacket was in better condition. But that's just me. Let's see. Where is this one? This one I sold for $12. So it's not a big money maker, but this was donated. $12 sale is gonna be about $5-6 profit. It was free shipping, so it's a heavy book. So I'm gonna have to pay, more than it's a couple pounds, so about a $5 profit. Again, it's not big bucks, but it sold pretty quickly, and I got it for free, so that's always nice. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Andrew. I don't know if Scully's still here. He might have left. I'm missing walking into the Blockbuster video stores, seeing rows of VHS tapes. Yeah, Michael says don't ever cold call them. Yeah, I would. Yeah, because he's going to realtors. Yeah, yeah. Get out there, circulate. You want your face to be known amongst the estate sale, companies, and uh, you be known as the guy. Here's the thing: like most people won't do this kind of stuff that Michael's doing, that are resellers. They will stay to the traditional ways of going to um, thrift stores, going to garage sales, maybe estate sales, but not talking to anybody. All you have to do is take that next step and talk to somebody, and you can open up doors that they'll never, be able to step into, and opportunities that they'll never have. And you want to stand out amongst everybody else. While a lot of people might struggle to find enough books, you could get to the point of having too many books coming to you and being sort of overwhelmed with it. so yeah, so those two. And then I sold an audiobook. Here is not really a bolo, be on the lookout, but I sold this audiobook, Excuses Be Gone, How to Change Lifelong Self-Defeating Thinking Habits, from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. I have sold so many of this guy's audiobooks over the years. Over the years that I've been on eBay. I've probably sold some through Amazon as well. No, I definitely have, because I've sent some into FBA. This guy is prolific. Put out a lot of books, a lot of audiobooks, and people love his audiobooks. So when you see this guy Dyer, always look his stuff up. I love audiobooks. People might think, well, who buys audiobooks? Lots of people. The same as who buys VHS tapes, right? Who buys CDs? Thousands and thousands of CDs that I've sold, and I've probably sold several hundreds of audiobooks through Amazon and through eBay. Definitely hundreds through eBay and Amazon combined over the last almost 6 years. Absolutely. So I love audiobooks. Just make sure all of the discs are in there, right? So check on the outside of the whoa, on the label, I guess, the artwork. It'll usually tell you, like, where does it say? So right here in the front, it says 7 CD set. So make sure that all 7 are in there. Check the surfaces, make sure that they're looking good. If you don't have a disc resurfacer and you find a surface that doesn't look that great, test it. Make sure that it's not skipping or anything. If you have a resurfacer, you can just resurface it. But usually, I find with audiobook discs, usually they're in great condition. So anyway, this sold for 10 bucks. No. Well, apparently I have 2 copies. I gotta go find the other copy. One sold for 8. One sold for what? For $9.99. So anyway. And then I sold this DVD. This was amongst probably a few dozen DVDs, the last ones that I had individually to list on Amazon. On eBay. This one sold for $7.99. It's free shipping, so I'll make $3.86 profit off of it because it'll go media mail for $2.80. So almost $4 profit, which is nice. You wouldn't think that you can make that much with free shipping on eBay, but this is one that I was from the Gaylords that I had, those last mixed media Gaylords. So you never know. You can sell. I sell a good amount of DVDs in that range, in that $7 to $10, $11 range, and you can still make a decent profit on there. And then these, where are these? So this is the Hangover, which you see all the time, but it's a trilogy, so it's all 3. So Hangover 1, Hangover 2, Hangover 3. So I put them all together and sold it for $9. I had it listed for like $10.99. I just took the offer on it. So this one I'll make a little over $4 on. These are DVDs though that individually you can't really do much with, and I come across a lot of them. So what I started to do is put certain ones together into the whole series or the whole trilogy or the whole movie series basically. So I've done this with the Ocean's 11 one, with Pirates of the Caribbean, which I've sold some, and then I have, what's that one called? Scary Movie, where I have the first 4. Apparently there's 5, but I have the first 4 for sale. So consider that if you're coming across a lot of DVDs, you can put the whole movie series together and sell them as a lot on eBay, especially if you have a lot of them. So if you have like the whole series of whatever, like if you had 4 copies of each of those, you could sell, you could list your price $10, $11, and then just say you have 5 copies, and so as they sell, you have more to keep selling. You don't have to put up another what is it called, another listing. So that's always good. Yeah, no, definitely, Brian. They're pretty quick they're pretty quick to list. There's only a couple photos that I take, 3 photos, and do it all together in batches. So it doesn't take too much time. This one is a nice sale. Let's see, where is it? This guy is Chef Todd Moore, and he's got 4 of them here. French food finds, advanced cooking methods, sassy sauces, saute like a pro. He's a chef. And so I happened to come across all 4 of these in a Gaylord, and they're all sealed. So I had them listed for like $40, but I just let's see. Oh, I took an offer of $29 plus shipping. So this was a nice sale. You can get more money clearly when the items are sealed. So if you, again, this is like not a series, but this is it kind of is from the same guy. So somebody that's into him and his doesn't have any. Yeah, well, here he is cooking it up. And so anybody that's into this guy, knows this guy, and sees all of these together are probably likely to want to buy it, and that's a nice sale. $29 plus shipping. One more. This is a book set. So these are the J.R. Tolkien ones. So these are from the 70s, I believe 73. Yeah, 1973, as you can see here. So I have the whole thing. I've got the Two Towers, Fellowship of the Ring. I have The Hobbit. The Hobbit. And then there's a couple more. The Tolkien Reader. And this one is the Silmarillion, which I never heard before. And then, of course, the other one is Return of the King. So these are all the vintage ones from the 70s, or at least the three main ones are, well, and The Hobbit. And those other two are kind of toss-ins, right? The Silmarillion one is from, that's not as old, I don't think. This is from 1981, so it's still pretty old. The Reader is probably from the 70s, it looks like it. 1974. Yeah, so these are all older books. And it's a popular version of it. And I sold it for where is it? I took an offer. I had it listed for $50 and I took $42 for it, offer plus shipping. So that's a wide variety, you know. That's why I recommend dabbling in other types of media to ensure that you have, that you know the different types of media that sells, and so when you're sourcing, that you can find some good stuff. I'm missing one Harry Potter DVD to complete a set. I haven't checked, but I assume it's worth sending something on eBay. Yeah, it's a cool book set. When I found it, I knew that I figured it'd be worth money considering it's from the 70s. And it's got its wear on there, of course, and some wear in general, but they're still in pretty good shape considering how old they are. Yeah, the complete Harry Potter DVD series goes for decent money. Depends on the one you have. I mean, if you have DVDs versus Blu-rays, it just depends. But the Blu-ray, of course, goes for more money. But I think that I don't. Oh, I think maybe I did sell the complete set, or maybe it was missing one. The hardest one to find is the latest one. What would that be? The 8th one. That's the one that I have a hard time finding. I find the first 5 or 6 pretty easy, but then the last one, especially the last couple, are harder to find. There's just not as many copies out there. So you never know. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been Flippin' Live day 43, I believe. And it's Monday. So today I will be heading to the warehouse and taking more pictures of probably of individual books that I have to list on eBay. Yeah. Oh, another thing that I listed is these carousel slide trays, Kodak's carousel slide trays. Do you guys remember these from back in the day? I remember these from when I was a kid. So there would be slides, and you put them in there, and you put it on the machine, and it rotates around, and it projects the image up on the screen. These were in a donation lot that I got back in May. And so I'm putting those up as sets, and we'll see. when those sell, because they are selling pretty often on eBay. I listed those yesterday, just random stuff that I find or am given. Yeah, definitely build up the sets. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive. We're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're flippin' live. Appreciate you guys for coming out. We had a good turnout this morning. This is awesome. We go live every morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific time here in California, so Pacific time. We've been going live for, 43 days in a row. And started this because of quarantine, a lot of people being at home and not being able to get out there. And I know things are slowly reopening, so that's a good thing for all of us. But we'll go live tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be doing some shipping today. I'll be doing some photographing, some listing, taking my kids to hang out with their grandparents, so I'm able to work in the warehouse. And hope you guys have a great day, that you are productive, find some good stuff to flip, and I will see you tomorrow. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. So take care, be safe, most importantly, and keep booking. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.